right piece. This is a new channel, you guys, and I'm building. So I appreciate you guys' support, and I appreciate the likes, the shares, and I most definitely love the comments. I have a couple of videos up already, and I also have a few shorts. So you guys want to go over there and go check me out, subscribe to this channel, and grow into something real quick, because it's to be about R. Kelly. But since he and Pusha T and Jay-Z, Pusha T, and Jamie Foxx, just to name a few, are in those. I don't think people really, they are going crazy. Were. And why the names were just showing up, you know what I'm saying, like all of a sudden. But the Epstein files were released because of something called the Epstein Transparency Act. And that is a federal law that was passed November 19th, 2025, that requires the U.S. Department of Justice to release unclassified documents. Anything that's pertaining to Jeffrey Epstein, they had to release that. So this was not a leak, y'all. You know what I'm saying? Nobody leaked anything, and nobody hacked anything. This was a mandated transparency release, so they had to do this release. But this is one of the important things. These files included reports, tips, emails, notes, and references like flight logs, travel logs, and just all type of itineraries. But that means names can appear for many different reasons. It could be because of proximity, your social circle, the hearsay, or just simply mentioning them, you know what I'm saying, in a report. So now, just because you're being mentioned does not mean you're accused of anything. Being named does not mean you're being charged of anything. And it does not mean that you're guilty at all. It doesn't mean that at all. But within the days of releasing the documents, DOJ must tell Congress, within 15 days, I might add, they must tell Congress what was released. 2, what was withheld and what was redacted. 3, the summary of why those redactions were made. And 4, list of all the government officials and politically exposed people named or referred. So, but what is not allowed to be withheld just because someone's name would be embarrassing, or a person named is politically connected figure, the redactions. Okay, but what can be redacted and withheld is personal identifying information of victims, materials that will reveal ongoing investigations, graphic content including abuse, child abuse. The law still protects the victims and privacies when it's necessary. Okay, but there has been public criticism that the DOJ, hasn't fully complied with the law, releasing only some documents or redacting heavily, which fueled debate over how transparency the release really is. So that's just like a little breakdown, of what those files really are. You know what I mean? What the Transparency Act really is. But the law forces the government to release documents even if the names are powerful, famous, or uncomfortable, as long as the material is unclassified. So when you see headlines like Jay-Z named in Epstein files, what that actually means is his name appears somewhere in the documents, not that he was investigated or accused. That's why context matters, you guys. That's why it matters. And that's why tonight we're going to be reacting to trap lore, because we gonna go against facts over frenzy, not clickbait, you guys, not clickbait, not clickbait. But before we get into the video, I just doubt when we watch this, because there's so much public opinion and social media is going crazy. I'm like going crazy. They even going back to stuff that happened 20, 30 years ago. They want to know how was he in the same room with these people back then, if he, but he was, you know what I'm saying? He was. So, but without further, because we want to talk about the little internet sleuths and what they got going on. What they got going on.
Trapmore gang, we have got some very dark and bizarre news that might not be surprising to some people, but to other people, this might just chill you to your core, because there's been rumors about Jay-Z being involved in some nefarious things over the years. I've covered it on my channel before, you know, the dark death of Jay-Z's mistress. There's been all these rumors, most of which, pretty much all of which have been unsubstantiated, just for the record, and I also don't want to get sued, that Jay-Z was involved in some dark things. They say he's in the Illuminati, they say that he's, you know, he's in some satanic rituals, but now, unfortunately for Jay, they're saying that he's in the Epstein files. I think it is, being in the Illuminati or the Epstein files, I'd probably pick the Illuminati. This is very embarrassing, this is very dark, and this is very grim, but it's not just Jay-Z. They're also saying that King Push, all right, King Push, Pusha T himself is apparently in the Epstein files too. I cannot believe what I'm seeing. It's actually insane. It is, honestly, this is bad. Yeah, this is bad. All right, just like the thumbnail said. So this has been going around, and it's been going around a whole bunch of different subreddits. I'm going to quickly just fill you in, pause, on some of the subreddits that this has been posted in, and some of the comments and reaction, because this is some of the craziest news I've seen in hip-hop in years, all right? And to be fair, this isn't proven, this isn't proof. There's a lot of crazy stuff that's been going around with the Epstein files today, but this is absolutely wild, okay? So this has been going around. There's these two snippets that are basically saying that Pusha T and Jay-Z were involved in some pretty nefarious behind-the-scenes Hollywood demonic party rituals. I don't even know. There's no other way I can say it. It says, on each occasion, Blank believes she was drugged, clouding her memory. Blank attributed the drugging as frequently performed by persons assigned as handlers. So they're saying that handlers was drugging this unnamed woman, this Jane Doe, right, and whom she described as persons who established friendships with the victims. Amongst her handlers, Blank identified the artist Pusha T. Insane. I'm speechless. I'm actually speechless. And then it says, in approximately 2007, Redacted attended a party. Another name redacted, following an invitation from an unknown man who approached her as she walked down a street. Weinstein and Pusha T, yes, Harvey Weinstein, also attended the party and drugged her before engaging in sexual abuse. And then the next post, it says, in approximately 1996, Blank resided with Blank in Blank. An unknown man abducted Blank from her home, when she later awoke in the presence of Harvey Weinstein and Sean Carter, aka Jay-Z, while Weinstein had inserted his fingers.
Let me say something. Let me say something. It's not funny, you guys. It's not funny, but it is. I'm laughing at Trapmore face because he's about to go in, you guys. He's about to go in. He's known for doing documentaries. And he's known to be very credible. So, I just want to piggyback a little bit on when they were talking about the files that Jay-Z and Pusha T was named in. When I done a little bit extra homework, as I was telling you earlier, when I tried to find out what was the Epstein Transparency Act. So in that, I found out that Jay-Z and Pusha T, this is old contacts at an old event. That's what they're saying. And this was an intake report that surfaced online, you guys, and they just only mentioned Jay-Z and Pusha T in the context, and they saying that doesn't mean that there's proof or charges or an investigation is coming. It's simply part of a submitted tip. that was added to the files. So if this lady is saying this is what's going on and these files and all that, why isn't there an investigation? Why hasn't there been charges? And where where is, you know what I'm saying, where is the fight for her? You know what I'm saying? I mean, because if you got her in these files, this is the proof. So all we need is the charges and what the investigation and the charges to come about. But they also saying that being named in the documents isn't evidence at all, you guys. They said there's no evidence because lawyers and experts and news outlets emphasize that names can appear for many reasons: social proximity, um, unverified tips, and that do not mean criminal conduct, you guys. So just because their names are in these files, it doesn't mean that they did anything wrong. It's just only stating that they are named because they were in proximity of these people, of Epstein, some type of way at some one of his functions, some type of way they were around Epstein. So whether they congregated with Epstein or not, they were around him some type of way. And as far as this allegation goes right here, it's saying that this happened at one of Epstein functions. So I just want you guys, you know what I'm saying, to have the real, because they are running out here with the narrative like, oh, he's gonna go to jail next, and woo, you know, and I mean, and that's crazy if we're gonna think Jay-Z is gonna go to jail. I mean, off his name simply being named. I mean, look what just happened with the Busby, you know, and I don't know. It's just my opinion. So we're gonna go back and let Drop Lord get into it.
For the record, and also so I don't get sued, all right? This is just an allegation. An ambiguous claim. A lot of crazy stuff is coming out today from these Epstein files, and from what I understand, a lot of these are apparently reports that were made to the FBI, to the authorities. Now, that doesn't mean a crime has taken place. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's absolutely 100% true. But what it does mean is that apparently this is a claim that has been made at some point historically, and it has been documented in the Epstein files.
I just said that.
And honestly, when we saw Jay-Z was getting sued by a Jane Doe that said that she'd allegedly done something to her, and there was this Tony Busby lawyer that got dragged, and Jay-Z said, "You won't get one red penny from me." He had a lot of responses for that. So I would like to see Jay-Z's response to this. And I think we will see it. I think we will see it over the next few days. Because if he's got all that energy for Tony Busby, he's going to have to respond to this. He's going to have to. So, this is some of the response. Now, this was first posted in the Jay-Z subreddit 4 hours ago. People saying, so Jay got his government name listed, but Push just has his rap name. They're saying this. But then they're posting a picture of Harvey Weinstein and Jay-Z cheesing it up at the Sundance Film Festival. Okay, so look, for the record, a lot of people aren't believing this. They're saying that, you know, him not having his government name and him having his government name in there and Pusha T not having it, it's cap, it's fake paperwork. That's what some people are saying. Right? And this point is very interesting. Okay, it says it's a reported statement, not the straight, deep research, though I will say that people are referred to by other things in the files at other points. If I'm remembering right, this alone isn't 100% perfect lock him up evidence, but at a minimum, it was grounds that the FBI thought it was something of note, then didn't touch upon it as they didn't with every person on the list, including the man in the big house, which is problematic at the least. Regardless of whether you think he did this or not, there would be no harm in investigating him along with the rest for this stuff. So here's some people arguing that this likely isn't true. They're saying, so we should believe that in 1996, Jay-Z, still without a record label living in New York, was already hanging around with Harvey Weinstein. Sounds like BS, just like the last time. But some people are saying this is the time period that Jay-Z was chasing LL Cool J around in clubs in New York to battle him for clout, and we're supposed to believe he was connected to Weinstein and Epstein. They're saying Jay-Z was a rapper who was getting dissed by Tupac. All right, so look. They're saying that, look, Jay-Z can't have been that popular. He didn't have this sort of Harvey Weinstein, Jeffrey Epstein connections in 1996. It was too early.
Wait. They be going off. They be going off, y'all. I just had to stop and laugh at that. Hey, we gonna get back into it.
But then some people are arguing, wasn't he like 26 and already connected to the game? It's possible, in my opinion. Jay had connections by then. Reasonable Doubt wasn't the start of his career. But then people are arguing and said that if he was that connected, so much connected, he was close friends with Weinstein, who was already winning Oscars, why couldn't he even get signed by some label? If Jay-Z was so close with him, why didn't they use his firm to produce Streets is Watching? Why didn't they do anything together for 20 years, never appeared together when they were such close friends, according to his lady? But then we get to this. So there's been a lot of allegations that Jay-Z has dated girls young and all that kind of thing. Now, we're not going to get into that in this video. There has been definitely a lot of claims made. Some of them, some of them look more meritable than others. I think we'll just leave it at that. But a lot of people are saying this has to be cap, okay? So this one says, Jay-Z ain't have a platinum record or a major label deal to his name in 1996, and you're telling me he became the richest musician ever from 1997 to today, and there's no dirt from that time span? The smear campaign is real, unfortunately, and I don't think he's going to shake this one. The public is too dense to actually read what's said. They're just going to say he came up in the Diddy case and the Epstein files, and it's that, SMH. But then they're saying, here's Jay-Z at a party with Weinstein, who knew Epstein at a party in 1998. Lol, and you don't think it's plausible. Let's take a look. Are they at the same party, apparently? Is that Jay? Jay at the party? I don't even want to know what this is. Diddy at the party? Is that Muhammad Ali? Hey, we know how... Listen, do your research on how Muhammad Ali gets down. Is that Harvey Weinstein? That's looking like Harvey Weinstein. No. This is a party that I would be embarrassed to be at. Let's just leave it at that. Enough said, okay? People saying 1996, this has to be bullshit. People believe anything, but other people are saying cope. People saying, I can't believe this. People think this is real. But apparently is. Apparently, some people believe it is.
I got a question for you, Shaq. First of all, thank you guys. Please like this when you watch it. If you're not on live with me, please subscribe. But I got a question for you guys. First of all, where you guys watching me from? Y'all my first audience. Let me know. This gonna be first of many to come. And I thank you guys who are here with me. I'm gonna have something for y'all, my day oneers. But on top of letting me know where y'all from, I need to know this question right here, y'all. When artists reach a certain level of powers, do you think their names naturally show up everywhere? Drop that in the chat below. Let me know, yes or no. Yes or no. Yes or no. You could go into depth a little bit if you want to, but yes or no. Because it just seems like when they get to a certain level, man, it's all type of documents.
Here it is. Here's the full paperwork. This is literally on the Department of Justice's website. A Federal Bureau of Investigation crisis intake document regarding child trafficking and the case ID being related to Epstein. Okay. Says this woman called the FBI National Threat Operations Center to identify herself as a victim of abuse by Jeffrey Epstein and others. Basically explained that in approximately 1994, a bunch of redacted stuff. Don't tell me I can copy and paste it like the other stuff. Please don't tell me I can copy and paste it like the other stuff. Wait. Approximately 1994.
Okay, what he's doing right there, that copy and paste. So what I was told was that if you have the original document, I guess with seals and everything on it, and if anything is redacted, darked out, you can copy and paste it, and it would give you all of the information that was redacted, but that's only if you have the original copies.
Information as a past? No. Okay, no. I don't think I can see through these redactions. But anyway, it basically says that's her allegation. She made these allegations. She said she was abducted on 7 occasions, waking up in opulent indoor settings. Obviously, I already read you this passage here that relates to, alleged presence of Sean Carter, and Weinstein had inserted his fingers into blank blank. She believed she was in Epstein's mansion. She goes on to say she was abducted on 7 occasions. She always woke up in an opulent indoor setting, suffered from abuse from multiple of those locations. Epstein participated. She said Leon Black, William Barr, for U.S. Attorney General. Wow, it's crazy, okay? In 2006, that was when she last recalled being abused by Epstein. She said she was drugged, clouded her memory. This is where she mentions Pusha T, which we already touched on. In 2007, she attended a party Weinstein and Pusha T were at the party, claimed to have additional information of other persons involved in the enterprise, racketeering in support of trafficking. She confirmed she was not diagnosed with any mental illness, but refused to provide her physical address, claiming she maintained no permanent address and moved between staying in different hotels. This is on the actual Department of Justice website. Okay, it actually is a real...
Okay. This is crazy because I'm gonna have to go dig into Pusha T. I'm really gonna have to go dig into Pusha T because I would have never thought that he'll be in the proximity of what he's been accused of right now. I wouldn't. I'm I'm gonna do some homework on Pusha T, and he gonna be one of my episodes of When Music Never Stops. You guys gotta stay tuned because I told y'all R. Kelly was supposed to be the first episode, and Jay Z was second, but I had to go with this quick one right quick. But R. Kelly's still gonna be the first one.
Thing, and it's an allegation that was made. You can't say that it wasn't an allegation. It's saying reasonable doubt. Jay-Z, by the way, I highly doubt he had such connections. Okay, ironic name for the title now. All right, reasonable doubt. This was during reasonable doubt. I highly doubt this. All right. If he's guilty, he deserves punishment, no doubt. However, I saw how this went last time. This call happened the day or the day after Epstein got arrested. Nothing further came of it. It doesn't necessarily prove anything, though this call is just the one place where either of them are mentioned. Everybody else is in the emails and paperwork. Right? This is, again, I'll keep saying this. If Jay-Z didn't marry Beyonce, he wouldn't be in a lot of these conversations. I always believed he is the cover for her getting hit with rumors by the media. Jay would have just been a rich rapper with his rich friends, but the Beyonce factor puts him in such much. Since they can't bring her down, they have to bring down the black man she married, and she married a hood dude who made it way past all of his colleagues. Jay-Z is a level no other rap artist is ever going to reach again. He's the easiest target for anything, and knowing how black folks hate their own when they get rich, it doesn't make it easier. For me to believe this post, I would need evidence and names. Until then, it's BS. You can't convince me that Jay-Z is into minors. Sorry, anything else but this. I need evidence and documents and pictures and names. Always going to be Beyonce's shield. Now, if people are saying it's cope, they're saying they're defending a PDF, all right? But let's look at what some of the other subreddits are saying, okay? Because a lot of people are celebrating the fact that Jay-Z and Pusha T particularly are being dragged into this absolute wildness, okay? So this is in the Playboy Carti subreddit where they're talking about the same thing, okay? You've already seen the passage from from the Department of Justice website that I showed you already, that they're basically saying Drake and his fans just got the best news of their life. And not going to lie, Push I didn't expect, but Jay-Z, Diddy, Epstein, and all the similar MFs are part of the same stuff. This is just a comment. I'm not saying this, but this comment is saying Jay-Z's 100% in this stuff, no doubt. Weird-ass piece of dirt. Even 50 Cent said he was in the files like a year and a half ago. Nobody believed him. People saying they're shocked, right? They're shocked by this. It's a celebrity be normal people with morals challenge. It's crazy. People saying they're shocked by Pusha T, but not Jay-Z. He was imaged with Beyonce when she was 16 and he was 30, and allegedly is where they actually started dating, despite them saying they didn't meet until 2000 when she was 19. And they're saying, yeah, same. Pusha T always acted like the moral police in the industry. You can't trust nobody in this industry no more. They're mostly the same. It is crazy, all right? It is crazy. So there's other subreddits talking about this. This is the Rory and Mal podcast subreddit. Okay, we're going to get a slightly different perspective on this. All right, and they're saying they need to address it on the pod. They're saying, here comes the coping. They're saying there's no chance in hell Jay-Z with on Epstein's radar in 1996. What the hell? People saying these new releases remind me of those texts that the kid who shot Charlie Kirk allegedly wrote. It comes off too convenient how they was all there. Victim walked into a room where Jay-Z was there along with Pusha T. Weinstein was fiddling with the tripod and Bill Gates was passing around lube. There was a TV set up where through Zoom, Epstein and Trump were watching while naked. Okay, it is a little bit ridiculous. It's a bit far-fetched. They're saying Jay-Z wasn't a superstar in 1996. It seems really weird that he was hanging with Weinstein. But they're saying that's the year he dropped Reasonable Doubt. They're saying, so this is who stole the 92 bricks. So look, okay, they're saying you owe Drake an apology. And it's a good point. It's a good point because look, Drake... No allegations of Drake were proven. So really, this puts Jay-Z and Pusha T and Drake all in the same basket. Disgusting, depraved allegations that are unproven. And we can just keep throwing that in your face, just like we did Not Like Us. If you can make and drag somebody through the mud for being a pedophile with no actual proof, with no actual substantial proof, we might need Not Like Us Part 2 for Jay-Z. We might need Not Like Us Part 3 for Pusha T. If that's how we're going, and apparently you can't sue for defamation if it's a rap battle, I'm going to need to see Drake dropping Not Like Us Part 2 and 3, dissing Pusha T and Jay-Z.
Look, I got another question for you guys. Drop this in the comments. Just after hearing this, guys, can we really separate the art from the noise, or is that impossible? I mean, can we separate it? Because this is a lot of noise. Would this affect anyone from listening to Jay-Z music or go back and listen to Pusha T music? Can we separate all this la 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 from whatever the artist has contributed to our culture? Drop that down in the comment, yes or no. And if you want to, tell me why. I'm reading them.
Now it says, our favorite little weird hat wearing PDF broke Pierce in the Epstein files. Oh no, I didn't realize this one. What? Man, what? Brock Pierce. I don't even know who this is, to be honest with you. I didn't actually check this one out. They're saying Pusha T's in it too. We're about ready to drop our favorites, all right? It is tough. Jay-Z and Pusha T named in the Epstein files. This is the New York State of Mind, the drill gang subreddit. People saying Jay-Z has too many accusations to let this fly under the radar. All right, I'm not going to read that, but you see what it says. Drug Dealers Anonymous. They said Pusha T doesn't have a government name. Like, who only puts rappers' names in Fed documents? This looks fake. People don't believe it. People don't believe that they could have all been hanging out at that point, and I hear it. Some people are saying this is like some kind of voodoo curse. This is in the Drizzy subreddit. So the Drake fans are rejoicing. They're gassed, all right? They're saying the Projection T fans are about to be in shambles if this is true. It says, wild thing is, if Drake was named, it doesn't even need to be true. They'll stand by it regardless. That's facts. There's about an equal amount of proof and allegation now on Pusha T and Drake and Jay-Z. So it's time for Not Like Us Part 2 and 3. They're saying the sixth god has claimed another soul. They was talking about the embassy about to get raided. I'm crying. Literally Jay-Z right now. Looking shook. This one has him scrambling, but I'm already hearing mumbling of these are only accusations. Right? But Drake don't have any accusations, and they still run with it. These are some good points. They're saying Drake won. It says, time and time again, we find out that someone other than Drake has actual allegations and sometimes lawsuits and cases against them. Meanwhile, every girl Drake has been accused of being inappropriate with has either publicly defended him or the story was debunked. And accused is in quotes because none of the accusations actually come from the girls themselves. It's always someone else trying to paint a narrative. And that's what Drake haters need to understand. Internet rumors are not the same thing as having actual allegations from the alleged victims themselves. So look, people are saying Drake won. All right? They're saying Drake's going to be listed. They can't even process the fact that Pusha T is on the list. Saying Jay-Z projection with the Super Bowl. It's crazy. They said we're not getting Iceman because Drake has to fit in at least 100 subliminals now about all this new content. See you boys in the summer. Every accusation is a confession. Was a huge Pusha T fan, but I'll admit it when he's washed. Drake wins. All right. I hope Pusha T rots in hell for what he did to the victims. I hope they find peace and share my sincere condolences with all the victims. It is wild. All right. And this is also in the Drizzy subreddit. It's another victory lap. It says Pusha T is in the he who should not be named files. It says Drake's pen just flew into his hand like Thor's hammer. Pusha T, and the T is for tranquilizer. Oh my lord. That one's savage. That one's savage. They're already writing lyrics for him. It says, they say your name in the files. I guess the coke came with receipts. I stay clear of dirty paper. You've been trying to Epstein the streets. Reload that one, man. That one's hard. That one's hard. The bars on Iceman are about to go crazy. He needs to rewrite the whole album, man. They're saying this isn't something that should be celebrated, obviously, but it's ironic. I hope that woman or girl is healing, and I agree with that. Every accusation was an infession. Quote, Pusha T drugged her. Only time he was actually living his raps. Please don't tell me that the only time Pusha T actually pushed drugs was on a minor at Epstein's party. Now, that's a joke. That's a joke. This is satire. I'm not suggesting that absolutely happened. I don't want to get sued by anybody. But hey, this shit looks crazy, all right? But apparently, okay, if I'm in a rap battle, it's not defamation. It's all good, right? Imagine if you revealed this as in an Iceman track. Bro, TDE, Metro, and Pusha all have had accusations since the beef, but all the media does is paint Drake as the villain. Pusha Tranquilizer is absolutely diabolical. That is actually insane. The rumors back then were that Drake had gathered some massive dirt on Pusha T and that he had recorded a diss, but his team didn't let him put it out because it was diabolical and would ruin him. Push, you are hiding a R-word. Man. So when is a picture of Pusha T's house with a bunch of red markers dropping on it? They're saying who's next on the list? That Pusha T pack hitting, that Pusha Tranquilizer pack hitting. Was this the kill shot Drake had, but he was talked out of saying it on a song? Man, they're saying, where's the academic stream when you need him? The next live, he got way too much to talk about.
See, this is what I was just talking about, you guys. When the internet hears something, when they hear them names in them files, they automatically jump to see academics, a new Netflix documentary popping off, and that's not how that works, you guys. That's not how the law works. They have to really be accused, charged, investigated. I mean, all that.
So this is in Hip Hop Circle Jerk. They're saying that Drake has officially now won every single beef in the entire game. I'm about to. Family business should have been about Pusha T. Also, apparently, the Drake subreddit are rejoicing. It's got me dying. Meanwhile, Drake's probably in the files. Yeah, probably.
Okay, if there's one AI site builder you need to meet, it's this dope tech from Wix.
Yeah, probably. But wait a minute. Oh my god, it's actually crazy. This is actually wild. Can I see this? Oh dear. It says they're all monsters. Okay, it's all monsters. Harvey Weinstein is also named. He was allegedly around when the victim and he assaulted her. They claim that he was in the presence of Jay-Z and later Pusha T. Reading this reminded me of that Diddy doc and Aubrey reading the email that was sent to her. It feels like drugging and trafficking young victims was the norm in Hollywood and somehow everyone's connected. Look, I think I'm a bit tired of this at this point, but it's going all over Hip Hop Heads. Has got thousands of comments. They're saying Leon Black and William Barr being there is crazy, okay? Even though it's a hip-hop subreddit, we looking at those pointers. It says, let God sort them out, I guess, right? And Clips is really about to perform at Coachella. They're performing at the Grammys in 2 days. They just did the Vatican. I think they might need to cancel that one, all right? They're saying Pusha T is saying, no way. Jay-Z said, yeah, okay. Drake about to resurrect the beef. I mean, it legitimately wouldn't be unjust if this is confirmed. It's just wild. Who needs it to be confirmed? You don't need it to be confirmed. You can just call people a PDF. This is enough. We've got a PDF document to call you a PDF. This is the same amount of evidence, if not more, than what they did to Drake. So look, all right, I think the hypocrites are down bad right now. It is a very, very tough time for the Pusha T's, for the Jay-Z's, for possibly the Kendrick Lamars, because for all of the mud that you guys threw, this is looking bad. And apparently you don't need to prove these things. We had a #1 song that went global. They're not like us. A minor. Didn't need any evidence. You guys are in the Epstein files, dog. Wow. All right, so look, I'm sure there'll be more fallout. I will let you guys know. I'm going to wait for Jay-Z to respond. No doubt he's going to respond, because when Tony Busby was making allegations, had a whole lot to say, had press statements, you couldn't get a red penny out of him. So we're going to need to hear from Jay-Z. We're going to need to hear a response. And I think we're going to need to hear from Pusha T, right? We're going to need to hear, you know what I'm saying? We're going to need to hear the story of Epstein or something. You know what I'm saying? Put that one out. But anyway, I'll catch you guys in the next video. I'm back in my usual setup.
Now, I don't think Jay-Z is going to come out, you guys. My honest opinion, I don't think he needs to make a statement. I mean, I'm not on his side. I'm not against him. But I'm just saying, I don't think he really needs to make a statement now that we really know what the Epstein Transparency Files Act really is. So just because his name has been mentioned, that don't mean he's being accused, you know. So the internet is gonna keep on going and keep on going and keep on going and keep on going. So my opinion, you guys, I don't think he's gonna say anything. If you think Jay's gonna say something, drop a yes down there. If you don't think he's gonna say nothing, drop a no. You know, or just leave me a comment. But that's all I wanted to do for today, was to jump in real quick and just touch up on this. And this is why I named my series When the Music Never Stopped, because it don't matter what our artists do and whatever conspiracy they are lined up with, it doesn't matter. Do we stop the music? Do we stop the music? Do we stop the music? I want to thank you guys for joining me tonight. This is your girl Reese, and this is The Right Piece.